This is the practical exam for the bandsaw. In this, you'll be given 2 work pieces. You'll be given a piece of 2x4. You'll be asked to rip a portion of it off. And you'll be given a small square piece of plywood where you'll be asked to do a very round cut, which will require relief cuts. As with all other cuts, the first thing you want to do is plan your cut. So since we don't have a guide, so to speak, on our bandsaw, you're going to want to draw a line to get yourself a straight edge, set it up on your piece of 2x4, just coast all the way down. So the first 2 things you'll want to do when beginning your practical exam is first you want to check and make sure the blade is rotating correctly. So this is your tension knob. This is what secures the blade from going up and down. Twist it this way to loosen it. Move it up a good amount. Retighten it. And then what you're doing is you're just pulling the bandsaw down and making sure that it seems to be moving correctly, that it's not hanging up on anything. Now when you move it back down, what you'll want to do is take your workpiece, this piece of 2x4 will be ripping, and you want to again loosen this, and then you're going to drop it down just so this is about 1/8 of an inch above. Really, the closer the better, and the closer the safer. Once you get it down, like we said, to about 1/8 of an inch, you want to come back to your knob and tighten it up. The dust collection system for our bandsaw is right here. So just as it is with the rest of our equipment, no need to turn anything on. Whenever you plan on using it, open this up, plug it in. The next thing you'll want to do is do a dry run through with your workpiece. So you're going to take this, you're going to start out here, you're going to be using both hands. You'll have your push stick in a handy position. Take it and you're going to make sure to line the blade up at the start of that line. Just start pushing it through, guiding it with your hands. And then when you reach about here, you want to take your push stick to complete the cut, take your other hand, reach around, grab it, and then guide it the rest of the way through. The power for our vertical bandsaw comes from right here, so you very simply hit start to start. Stop to stop. A very important thing with this is you don't want to walk away until that blade is done rotating, mainly to protect others more so than yourself. To begin our cut, we want to get in here, clear off all the workspace, make sure everything's clean. Take your push stick, locate it in a convenient spot that's still out of the way of your original cut. You come over here, you're going to press start, and you're going to begin your cut. For the next part of your vertical bandsaw practical exam, you'll be asked to cut this curve out of a square piece of plywood. Now, the most important part about this is you'll be asked to draw your own relief cuts. What a relief cut is, it's a cut that you'll make from here into your cut so that it relieves stress, because if you just try to do this cut, you could damage the blade. So what are you aiming for? You're aiming for the peak or the apexes of curves. So the 2 that you'd really want on this sort of cut is we kind of have a flat section here, and another one here. But these 2 apexes, you want to go from there out to the edge. You draw a little dot where you want these to connect to. And then it doesn't really matter what angle you come in on these from, but you just want it to be the simplest. So you'll be asked to draw this one, and this one. So you'll be required to draw both of these relief cuts. Now when you're doing when you're actually using the bandsaw, you just slide this up and you'll cut all the way up until the blade hits this. Then with the blade still running, you'll remove it directly out that same path, because the back of the blade isn't sharp, so it should just slide back out that. You'll then rotate it and do this exact same cut. Now in the video you saw me kind of mess up this cut right here. I just want to stress the importance of it. You don't have to get your cut right on that line. If you're going over, try not to force the saw because that's really bad for it. Know that you can always go back and you can hit that relief cut up a little bit above where you planned, and then that piece will fall off and you'll have a much smaller piece like I had in that video that you'll be able to come to and get. I also wanted to leave this little bit right here. As you can tell, I didn't quite make my line. And this isn't really this cut isn't really a piece that you would use a vertical bandsaw for. So what I'm saying is you don't want to go back through here and try to just cut off this little sliver and make that perfect round. You can use a sander or some sort of other tool for that.